Welcome back, nice to see you all. And as you can see, I'm out and about in the nearly June sunshine. Big story this week was that I did some work on the tonneau cover behind me. I've had a lot of trouble trying to open and shut it, especially at car shows. It's been really embarrassing, either jumping up and down on it or trying to flick the thing up. So let me just show you what I did. I put a new Bowden cable in, have a look and tell me what you think. Right guys, as you can see, I've visited James Paddock online and received an invoice for just over 70 quid, 54 quid plus a bit of postage plus VAT to get the new Bowden cable to do the hood on the Triumph Stag. There are two cables here, and forgive the mess on the kitchen table, but you get the idea. This is the bit that goes into the lever behind the seat squab, a big silver lever, as you know, so that goes into that, just like a bicycle handle, I suppose. That cuts up through the body. Here's the first brake for the first latch, so that'll be on the near side of the Triumph Stag in the UK, and that will pull that across. Obviously there has to be some adjustment with various nuts on there, and then it goes all the way around the back of the tub out to the other side, and that's the offside then in the UK. And you can see here we've got a little bit of Bowden cable sticking out and some adjustment, and that's actually a dead end, so that will be on the offside in the UK behind the driver's seat to pull the latch on the offside of the car, and that is all fantastic. Then there's a second cable, because we know there's two operations on that one lever, and this one is for the latch on the boot, I beg your pardon, the latch on the hood at the back of the tub. So you know the big dagger thing that comes into the bodywork, whether you've got a hard top or a soft top, it's the same principle. Again, Bowden cable, just a single cable, whoops, all the way through to the top there, and that is in the middle of the tub and would then pull the slider across to release your hood catch at the back of the car. So, all right, so we've got the Stag up the drive and suitably disrobed. I've taken the hood back a little bit. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. So you can see that the hood is half cocked up from the front rail, and just on the hoop, latched on the super latches that I've got here. They're very good. And in here you can see the rear is clear, with the side panel there on that side now removed from this side, so you can see that. And then what I've done, I've just taken off some couple of bolts down the bottom here. This is the silver lever that is about to come off and is the start of all things to do with releasing the latch. And now I've got to try and find how that works here. Where are we? Just get the latch there somewhere. Where are we? There it is. Yeah, so that's the first latch that I've removed from the body here, and there's the first cable coming up to it underneath there, you can just see, and then that then feeds off and around in the usual way, and that's the release cable there. It's a separate cable with the first cable going right around to the other side, and you can just see it there with the latch again removed from the bodywork, but that's the cable I've got to replace. The problem, I think, is the fact that this nipple on the end has come off. We'll have a look closer in a minute when we get the whole thing off, but that's the problem, so it's not been releasing properly, so we'll have a look at that. And just a note to self, I think I better be sure about which side goes where, just in case there's a side to this. So the one that's still engaged is this one here on the left hand side, and the hood release is on the right, so just so I know that for future reference in case I have a panic later. Alright, so you can see now how I've taken that mechanism out of the car. I've released these cables, the black plastic cables from the connectors on these little pegs here across the back. You can see this has been in since the respray. Interestingly, it was yellow, as you can see there. So again, this side I've just taken this bracket off, took a bit of fiddling. That black plastic thing needed to be worked out of this jaw here, but I've just twisted and turned that, and that was 180 degrees. It's got a flat, if you can just see there, so that just squeezed out. Now I've got to undo this little nut here, clamp bolt if you want to call it that, because that holds the Bowden cable in position obviously, and that is adjustable, so I'm going to undo that and see if we can get the whole thing out. And there we are, there's a little clamp bolt out, and the cable obviously passes through the hole in the middle. You can just see that there, and tightens it up. That's the end plastic thing out. Took a bit of fiddling but got it out, and that's the hood catch that catches on these things here, just so you know. So that's what engages into this at the top here and locks your tonneau down. So let's see if we can now remove it from the back of the car. And just for context, just laid it on the ground. Going to see if I can get some kind of similarity with a new cable. That's the first latch that I've not yet removed. Back of the car and off to the offside. That's the bit I've just taken out, as you'll remember. So all good. Interestingly, just getting it out of the tonneau legs, as I would call them, took a bit of a fiddle, but you can actually pull them through here. If you drop the tonneau a bit, you get yourself a little bit more gap. And so we're now completely bare of any mechanism. So I guess it only goes upwards from here, he famously says. All right, well, I've managed to kind of reconnect it. I'm going to have to disassemble it again to put it back into the car. But here you can see the mechanism. This is for the release catches on the tonneau here. So that's both sides plumbed in. As I say, I'll have to take this off to wind it back through the back of the tonneau underneath the back there and clip it all to the back. But at least it gives you an idea of what's what. Those who have very sharp sight will notice that I've used the old outer cables, and actually largely that's because these plastic bits, I'm not sure about the one I thought was broken, I'll have a look in a minute, but they're pretty rare to get hold of. And if you look to the new fixings, we just have a series of nuts and lock nuts and stuff. So in preference, I know that's new, but I might as well, because the outer on the old one is okay and formed, and it's well lubed inside, I might just as well use the old plastic fittings, because I know they all actually connect up in the right place. So that's why I've done that. I've yet to do the dagger release at the back here, which is next on the list. So that's the next cable to go in, but I'll probably just want to put it back in the car first. So I've got it nearly there with all the wires and stuff somewhere near where they need to be. Right, long story short, I've got all the cables back in. I've got the mechanism, the lever, plumbed in again. The one at the back here took a bit of tightening. So this one here, where is it? It's gone, there it is. Takes a bit of tightening up. You've got to punch this together with a pair of pliers and then tighten that up close to there, so that's then sliding about. Over here we have a top tip, so I don't know if you can see that, but the actual actuator, when it's shut, which is what the latch is now, can you see that lip? That's shut now. That little block that you nip up just there actually touches the metal of the catch just here. If you can see that, let's just come up and have a look. So it's up against that. I had that wrong and wasn't opening or shutting it. So that little adjuster needs to be tight up on the metal here at the front, so that you can then undo it. So hope that helps anybody else who's trying to do this. But that's locked at the minute, and if I pull the thing out, there we are. So that's one side done. I've now got to go to the other side over here and do that bit, and also retrieve my shoe. Somehow lost my shoe. Not quite sure where that's gone. Anyway, it's been a bit of a fiddle, but hopefully that will help. I've got to bolt this back in now. I had to unbolt it because it's such a tricky place to get to. Just a top tip there, you've got a little metal plate behind here. If you can see that, it's actually in the cavity there. So probably best do the one that's most difficult here, and then this one there. So I've adjusted this one, and just to be sure, if you imagine that's the piece there, that's the locking bit on the tonneau cover that you want to engage in the top of here, so where my finger is now, through here. That's now locked because that's the cap over the top. You have to allow enough Bowden cable here, so this lever allows that to move, if that makes sense, and then locks it. Then pulling this will unlock it, you see? That's how it unlocks. Alright, so quite a fiddle to do it manually, but you can do it with a screwdriver. But what you can try and do, there you go, is pull it down enough so that it locks down, and that's tight, and then when you pull the cable, releases. So that's a little bit better description than the other side, which is under there somewhere, and a right fiddle. And again, another little top tip as you're putting this back, just see where it lands. You can see there that might be a little bit forward of the actual bracket. Let's move that out. So you do have a little bit of movement here. You can move it forward and back to adjust so it lands in the middle. That's the idea. And now they're both in, not sure if they're in the right place or not, so I'm just going to try and lock this up. There we are, I can hear that's across. So rather than doing this with the tonneau down, because for obvious reasons if that gets stuck and I can't undo it, I'm knackered without a lot of work. So I've locked that one and I've locked that one. Let's see if we pull the handle down here whether we actually get any results. Yes, that sounds like it's worked. Okay, brave enough to have a look with the real thing in just a second. Meanwhile, let me just double check the back of the hood dagger release again. I'm looking to make sure I'm pulling that enough across to get my dagger out, because again, don't want that stuck. Might tighten it a little bit. Okay, we've just gone the full hog, and it is down. I'm not sure this is a good idea. I've pinched a bit of the rubber coming out the back, but that doesn't matter, I'll go back in a second. And that is definitely down. Okay, that's just the rubber that's missing there. So that is in, fingers crossed. We'll come back to the handle. And we can make sure it goes open. Right, a couple of tests off screen, but where's my little, there's my tallywagger. We're going to drop this tonneau now. That's in, and this is also in. This car has never blinking worked. I'm quite chuffed that I've managed to get this deck down because it's always sticking up. Okay, let's try the magic doobry, and with a bit of a pull we are certainly up. Okay, let's just check that last little dagger hole. Okay, I don't know if you can see down there, but there's just half a slider sticking out there. That's the thing that locks onto your pin as it comes in. So I'm just going to try and lift that, and again it seems to work. So I think we're good enough to drop the lid, test that. And one last tip I've heard online, I'm going to try it this afternoon, is actually taking out these bolts that hold the back of the seat on, because they're just hung on the hooks at the back, and there's two whacking great bolts that go in there at the back. And I've heard that if you have a problem with your tonneau, then to get the back seat squab off is almost nigh impossible. So I'm going to use a couple of these just to hold it in place, and I think you can see there's a place I can just get the zip tie in, and that will hold it enough to, but if we need to break it I can get some knives in there or something and slice it and open it. So that's a top tip I've heard several times from several owners, so just to share one with you. So I won't be putting those bolts back in, just a couple of cable ties to secure it. Okay, so I've got the hood back on, just the rear dagger to drop down. I have had a trial run whilst we're off camera. This one has to take quite a whack because it's not quite straight. Not quite straight. There we go, that's in. Job's a good one. I know the hood isn't perfect, so don't write in, but it's down and it's weather tight and it's all good. How about that? Good afternoon's work. A right fiddle, but all absolutely doable. So I hope you enjoyed that, giving you a few ideas maybe. I'm not necessarily saying it's the right way to do it, but it kind of works. I've had to do a bit of adjustment today just on the near side it was just gripping a bit, so I've just adjusted it slightly by unbolting the catch and just moving that around a little bit such it was better aligned. I think naturally the cable is stretching anyhow because of the environment. Obviously it's quite a lot of load there, I think, when you're pulling up and down that lever. But anyway, here she is, here I am, we're back in the swing. Sorry I've been away for so long, just been so busy with work, and it will continue to be so, I'm afraid. So I'll try and do videos as and when I can, but lovely to see you all again. Please give us a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe, and I guess we'll see you on Arry the Stag online very soon. All the best. Cheers for now. Arry the Stag.